You're listening to RX Inspiration, the show where we highlight pharmacists across the country making a difference in their communities. I'm your host, Manuel, and I'm coming to you from the home of pharmacy at the American Pharmacists Association in Washington, D.C. I'm joined today by APhA President Randy McDonough, who will be leading today's conversation. We are also joined by Melissa McGivney, Associate Dean for Student Success and Professional Initiatives and Professor at the University of Pittsburgh, as well as a member of the APhA Board of Trustees, and she will be our co-host today. We have two special guests. Our first is Erin Halvorson, who is the lead telepharmacy technician at Towncrest Pharmacy in Van Horn. Our second guest is Kelly Kent, the COO of Towncrest Pharmacy Corp. Those are some big names, and we're going to pick their brains. So leave us a comment on what you hear today, maybe shoot us a like and subscribe, and let's get started. Randy, take us away.
Thanks, Mason. I sure appreciate that. I'm very excited about having our guest today, Erin Halvorson, and also Kelly Kent, as part of our team at Towncrest Pharmacy, but in particular with Erin's role, because as we heard, she is our lead telepharmacy tech at our hybrid pharmacy. In our hybrid pharmacy, we converted from a traditional community pharmacy back in January, and we did this for a variety of different reasons, but we had to have the right people in place to be able to make this work. So we were very fortunate that Erin was already working for us. We felt like she'd be a great fit for us over at our Van Horn pharmacy. And so Erin, I'm going to start with you with a question. So you have a very unique role or a position as our lead technician at our hybrid pharmacy in Van Horn. Can you provide our listeners with an overview of your day-to-day responsibilities?
Yeah, I was going to say thanks for having me. It means a lot. I would say my day-to-day responsibilities is really similar to an average technician. I process prescriptions. I do inventory on both of our OTC items and all of our prescribed medications as well. I answer phone calls. I deal with any type of patient interactions. I would say just the main big difference is it's a lot of technology you have to understand. Whether it being the council with our pharmacist, all the small technology things that you get on the computer, how I can tell my pharmacist, oh, I have a waiter here, this one's here, please check this one right away. But yeah, I would say it's definitely really similar to any other technician. You just have more technology that you need to learn and understand.
But there is a big challenge too, because you don't have the pharmacist there.
I do not.
Yeah, so that was a big change from where you're at.
Yes.
So
Yep.
Let everybody know how that works.
Yeah, so we actually have a pharmacist in site Monday and Tuesdays, and then Wednesday through Friday is when we have an offsite pharmacist. So we use Teams we talk to our pharmacist there. So if anytime a pharmacist or a patient has a question, they're able to talk to a pharmacist right away over a video call. But other than that, like if I have any questions, our pharmacists offsite are really easy to get a hold of. Just say, hey, can you help me with this prescription? Can you help me, this doctor? I don't really understand what they're saying. Can you help me with that? But yeah, no.
So I'm going to go to Kelly real quick here because, Kelly, when we were deciding to go to a hybrid pharmacy, a telepharmacy, we wanted to make sure we had the right people. And I know that you had some ideas about who would be a good fit for us, and Erin came to the top of that. Can you explain why you feel like Erin was the right candidate for this and what you envision the future of this pharmacy to be?
You bet. Because I think the exact traits that we just saw with Erin is she's pretty modest. She kind of downplays the role that she has and the importance of her position and just the responsibility that she has as well. So I think knowing that about her, having worked with her, having seen her interact with patients, we're just very comfortable with the way that she practiced as a technician, the point at which she would engage with a pharmacist or pause and come back, that's a good question. Let's reach out to our pharmacist. Let's get them involved in this. We were very comfortable with that. Erin also has just a wonderful, wonderful, warm personality. And so it makes her an easy person to have be the face of our pharmacy. And that's really what she is in this community, those 3 days that she's staffing solo. The Monday, Tuesday, she's got a pharmacist there with her, but those other 3 days, she really is the face of Towncrest Pharmacy in Van Horn for us. So it's really important that we continue to convey that level of care that we have for our patients and engage, let them know how easy it is for them to interact with the pharmacist. And, as we were evaluating this position, it was an easy recognition to know that those were in kind of embedded traits that she had that we could just allow to grow and blossom, and that's truly what's done. She's really grown into this role, and it's been very cool to see her do that.
Yeah, I love that. And I love this, Randy, you giving us this behind the scenes look, letting the whole world get to see the behind the scenes amazing people that you get to work with each and every day. So, Erin, thank you for sharing, because I think there's going to be a lot of people really interested in what it is that you do, and how you do that in a way that's unique. And I'm hoping maybe Kelly and Randy, can you give us a little bit of insight as to, each time you do something new, you think about how you can lift up and support those folks that you work day by day, side by side with. What kind of things went into your decision making about how to create this position? Because you clearly found the right person. But how did you start thinking about, well, what do we need to do to make this successful? Because as we're trying to develop patient care services anywhere, we have to think differently about people's roles. And can you give us a little bit of that background to how you did that?
I'm happy to speak from the CEO perspective. I'm going to pass it on to Kelly from an operations perspective. And Kelly and I see eye to eye on most things, so I'm sure we could probably both talk about each other's view of this thing. But for us, initially, from a business perspective, was how can we make this pharmacy still stay open in a community of which it's still a pretty good distance to the next closest pharmacy. Given the reimbursement that we were seeing on the product side, we realized it was getting challenging, given just the number of patients that we were taking care of every day. But how can we still provide the same level of service and do that in a way that's going to be financially viable? So for us, it became more of a business decision, but from a pharmacist perspective, it also became very much the ethical question of how do we make sure we are staying in the community, and so we still can provide these services. So that was the bigger. Well, okay, now we made the decision. We do want to keep a pharmacy there. We want to make this a telepharmacy. I'm going to pass it on to Kelly about what the thought and process went in as far as what's next and who do we need to hire to be in this role.
Yeah, absolutely. This is where I get excited with the operational side of things. How are we going to make this work? And so identifying Erin for this role, kind of talking to our key staff members that are involved in that site, the pharmacist that's there to let her know what that was going to be like, even engaging with our bookkeeper that also has an office at that location too. And about I'm going to say 8 weeks out, maybe 6 weeks out, we started having weekly touch points with this core group of people, including the owners, Erin, our pharmacist, Mary, our bookkeeper, um, individuals that have a great reputation in the community, really understand the people. And so we just, from an ownership perspective, we really tried to listen to what their concerns were with. Patient uptake of this new service and the way that care was going to be provided a little differently. And we just continued to have those weekly touch points. During that time, we were also going through the training with Erin. Obviously, we have to make sure we follow Iowa pharmacy law, ensuring that she has enough hours logged to do that. As it got closer, we had our telepharmacy pharmacist would work on site, but would be in a different room, just to mimic what it would be like with using the technology. Because I really wanted to make sure, you know, uh, Erin is an exceptional young telepharmacy technician for us. She's an exceptional person. She takes on great responsibility, and I just really want to make sure that she feels comfortable with the technology. Um, with the responsibility, and also that she feels safe in this environment too. So we had some great conversations during that. It was also at the end of the year when we had a lot of folks coming in for open enrollment, Medicare open enrollment. So we had some great conversations with people, just like letting them know it's going to look different. You're going to see me, or you're going to see my colleague. You're still going to see Mary. This is what it's going to look like. Come over here. You'll be right here at this screen. Erin can help get you set up. And I think it was just kind of an evolution of just talking through and socializing it with folks, and that's been really helpful.
I
I'd like to
love
add to that too,
that.
real quick, Melissa, on that is that
Yeah.
you can see I have the right people in the right places. I mean, Kelly did look at this from an operations perspective. It was easier from my perspective saying, okay, this is how we need to go. Now, Kelly and Erin make it work. It's so they've done a very good job. And how we transitioned, I thought was really cool to see how do we prepare everybody for this new technology, new way of doing things, anywhere from both Erin's perspective, but also, Mary is our pharmacist that's there for 2 days a week. How does that change for her? But also from a patient perspective, what are they going to start expecting to see differently? So I thought we did a really nice job of transitioning. So it was good.
Well, and I think you just told the world a little bit about how to make this a success. The fact that you did listening along the way, I love that. You were listening to the team, you were also listening to the patients that you serve with this commitment back into this community that is really important to the work that you do each and every day. And you told us, Kelly, about how Erin, you got started. So, often that onboarding time, even though that you were already with the company, it sounded like you got a lot of thoughtful onboarding. And that's a part that sometimes we forget to talk about, is just how critical that piece is, to make sure you have the support and the patients. So how did that all work for you?
Oh, I feel like it was really nice. I came over to Van Horn because I was originally in our Moringa location. I came over about 3 months prior to when we were even going to do the telepharmacy. So I just got very comfortable with the patients. I feel like that's a main thing, is that you want to have a familiar face there before you tell them a big change is going to happen. So I feel like with us, getting over there and getting comfortable with the patients, I feel like that was very helpful. So then it let the patients know that, like, yes, something's changing, but something's also staying the same. And I think they really appreciated that. I feel like if we weren't to have done that, I feel like the patients would have taken this a lot harder than it should have been. But I definitely think that having a familiar face and having Mary here 2 days a week, I think, is also very, very helpful for them. Just because it's a small town, you'd like to see familiar faces, and yeah.
Erin, that does lead me to another question for you, and I also want Kelly to talk about that too. We frequently have talked about the patients, and so overall, how have they responded to this hybrid pharmacy and also your position? And then if you and/or Kelly can give us some case examples of what patients have said more recently about this actual pharmacy.
Yeah, at first, patients were definitely not the biggest fan of them. Mary has been here for quite a while, so their biggest thing was, "Oh, Mary's leaving." We're like, "No, Mary's not leaving." So they're a little nervous about that. Like I said, once they started getting used to me, they were like, "Okay, at least we know someone here." Um, but they weren't the biggest fan of change and the computer, having to talk to a pharmacist over a computer. Um, but we actually had a patient. She has coffee with a group of friends every morning. And she came over and she was like, "My girlfriends were talking. We aren't the biggest fans of the computer and the whole telepharmacy thing." Well, then she came over and she had to do a counsel with Mike, our pharmacist, for the offsite. And that next day she came in and she goes, "I have to apologize. I went over, I told my girlfriends that this thing is so nice. I got to talk to him, and it was the same thing, just over computer." She's like, "I had to apologize. I told all my girlfriends that they need to come over here and just talk to him on the computer."
Very good. How about you,
That's
Kelly? Have you
great.
any unique experiences with patients and how they view it?
Yeah, I think from from two different perspectives. I've been approached just in a neighboring community by a patient that does receive care there, just how they're so thankful to still have a pharmacy in town. Um, and that was really the message that she was sharing. She is just really thankful that we found a way to keep the pharmacy going there in the community. She was hesitant at first, but having done it, she's like, it wasn't that big a deal. It was okay. Um, Having had some counseling with patients and over the phone, I mean, Erin does such a wonderful warm handoff to the pharmacist. As I'm checking, I put in notes to guide her about if and when I want to talk to the patients, and um, she just will talk right through the Teams call. Hey, I've got so and so here to talk about this. And it's a perfect transition. And the patient's face appears, and I'm right there, and have a good conversation that way. We've also done the same thing with phone calls. If a patient calls the pharmacy and they need to talk to a pharmacist, Erin can just transfer that through our phone line straight to my extension wherever I might be working that day. And that's been really that from a patient experience, that's no different if they had to be placed on hold for a moment while the pharmacist was freed up, you know? And so it's been great to continue to have those conversations. I think last week, a phone call that she handed me over was somebody that's enrolled in our medication synchronization program. And I had already put a note in because the methotrexate dose was different than what it was previously. And so she was calling to let us know she had gone to the doctor. They had, in fact, lowered that dose. They had, in fact, changed one of her medications. And so I was able to reconcile that that was an intentional dosage change. Um, and then just let Erin know easily that, okay, disregard my pop-up note. It's okay to dispense. We've got our own internal clinical documentation system that we use to record that. So whether I was the telepharmacy pharmacist that day, or Mike, or someone else, they would still be able to pick up that same conversation. And I think that's been really important from um, a patient care perspective is we don't want to lose any of those touch points with patients. We don't want to miss any of those opportunities to ensure that they are on the appropriate regimens.
Thank you, Kelly. Erin, coming back to you, we're seeing the role of the technician evolve, and in a very positive way, a very good way. You've been at our Marengo pharmacy, which is a traditional community pharmacy, and now you moved over to our hybrid pharmacy where you're the lead telepharmacy technician. What is it that you like about your position? What's unique about it? We've kind of heard that already, but what do you like most about it?
Yeah, I would say the main thing that I like most about it is that I'm independent. I feel like I am a very independent person, and it's made me more confident with being independent just because when our Marengo site, it was a face to face. So if there's any problem, I can be like, oh, my pharmacist fixed this. This is okay, show me what I need to do to fix this because I can't have a pharmacist come on site and fix everything for me. I have to do it myself. I would say that's definitely the main thing. I've definitely taken a lot more responsibility. Um, I'm the one that has to, if an angry patient comes in, I'm the one that has to calm them down. I can't walk away and be like, oh, pharmacist, take this. It's, nope, we can settle down. We can talk about this. But yeah, I would say that's definitely the biggest thing that I've really enjoyed with being in the telepharmacy site.
I appreciate that. From an APHA perspective, we're really trying to look at how do we incorporate our technicians not only on the board, but how do we actually promote them more within the practice. So I think you've done a great job of already at your young age, looking at how do you keep your career moving in a forward direction. I think the sky is the limit for you. But what advice would you give to other technicians who want to advance their careers? Because I want people to understand that there's a very strong career path for technicians. And I think you represent the example, right? The role model of how you can get to the next position. But I'm sure you have some other things you want to accomplish, as a technician as well. So go ahead. What kind of career advice would you give to people?
Yeah, I would say definitely ask questions, be able to want to learn things Like, if you have a question, be like, why is this way? Like, why are we doing it this way and not this way? Because once you understand what you're doing, it's going to be easier to communicate to the patients, like, this is why we're doing it, instead of, well, I'm not too sure. It's easier for you to understand what you're doing to then let the patients know. I also feel like being organized is very important, especially because you don't have a double set of eyes in person at the telepharmacy site. So you have to make sure that what you are looking at is meant to go to this patient, or what you're looking at isn't what I accidentally took a picture to send to our offsite pharmacist. So I think you definitely need to be very well organized.
Very good. And then as far as career aspirations, is there anything else you want to accomplish as being a technician?
Oh, I
Sorry,
don't
that was a
know.
curveball that I threw at you there. So.
I've been looking into the community health worker. I think that would be pretty nice to look into. I just got my immunization, so slowly working on all of them.
Very good. Very good. I think those are wonderful opportunities for people too. And I'm not sure, did you go through the checking technician
I have
when you're at
not.
Manuel?
No.
Well, it's harder to do now, right?
Yeah.
But but going through the immunization, I think, is really cool, because in Iowa, technicians can immunize. And then also looking at the community health worker, especially in the role that you're in this community, to really identify those issues that might keep a patient from accessing health care, whether that be affordability or living conditions or food insecurities. Having that background and that education, that training will help you to identify how to get people connected within the community. So we're excited about that opportunity for you as well. So no, I think I'm very excited, and I want to just tell you how happy I've been with you as our lead technician at our Van Horn Pharmacy, and I see a very very positive career for you, and we're very fortunate to have you. So I want to thank you for that. But before I give you your last word, I want to ask Kelly, as far as you look at a pharmacy practice and you look at other pharmacists out there and working with technicians, what advice would you give people as far as, how do you give a career path? How do you prepare people? And how do you hire the right people?
Well, that would be the $1 million question on how we hire the right people and how we keep the right people on our bus. Yes. I think some of the ways that we've found success is truly talking with people at the point of hiring about the evolution and the career path that, I frequently say to some of our technicians, I have a plan for you. And I have goals for you. I have aspirations. We are moving along this path. We can always veer off, but here are some opportunities that I think that you would be great at. And I want to let them know, like, I'm looking 3 to 5 years down the road, because I think that's really key to let people. I'm definitely looking past your first 6 months and even your first year. I'm looking 3 to 5 months down the road, and how can your role evolve? I think so oftentimes folks now would prefer a little variety in their job. They would prefer to not do the same thing every single day for years and years on end. So I think it's engaging and exciting to be able to say, like, okay, what we're doing today is a foundation, it's a building block for this next phase, and I want to get you trained to do this, and then that's going to open doors so we can pursue this opportunity within our practice, and then we can train this person and you can talk to this person, and we can expand and have you go to multiple sites. And so I did think just having a plan and making that a part of annual evaluations is a great time to reflect upon that too.
Very good. I appreciate that. So, Erin, you're getting the last word here today. So, you give us a lot of good information and for people to be thinking about and everything else. But, if there's one thing you could say to anybody who's contemplating being a technician, what would you tell them?
Do it. Just do it. I feel like, especially if you, like me, like to talk to people, I love patient communication. Like, that's just my favorite thing to do, is to see people. I don't want to be at a desk hiding in an office all the time. I want to physically be doing something, making a change, whether it be giving someone a med. Like, it means a lot to me to be able to see these people and to be the one to put a smile on their face, just to me to even remember their name, being like, oh, so and so here to pick up, and just to talk with them. Like it just means a lot.
Perfect. I think that's a great way to end this. And I want to thank Erin Halvorson. You can see why she's our lead telepharmacy technician. It's about the people, it's about the patient, and it's about how the patient feels. And she's done a great job to demonstrate that. So we really haven't lost a beat. We kept moving forward. And I think this move to the hybrid pharmacy is proving to be a win-win for not only Towncrest Pharmacy, but for the community. And it's all because of the people that we've hired. Erin's taking the lead on that. Mary, our pharmacist that's there 2 days a week, have done just a great job to help the community to accept what we're doing, as you have heard here today. So again, I want to appreciate everybody. I appreciate both Erin and Kelly being our guests. And thank you again, Melissa, for co-hosting with me. And I appreciate everybody for this episode of RX Inspiration. And we look forward to talking to you next time.